Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Zombicide 2nd Edition Complete Upgrade Kit Part 3. So if we kind of went through and we watched the other videos, in the first part I went over the basic idea of what was different in this set compared to previous sets, and I went over some of the base characters in set 2. I went over the rest of the characters from it. So just a quick recap is it just contains the survivors from the retail releases, none of the Kickstarter. And then this one I'm going to go through all of the zombie cards. So this one won't take nearly as long because there's just a lot of repeat cards, but we'll just kind of fly through them. I also did a quick short video called Complete Upgrade Kit. Quick look if you want to check it out. It just does a very quick explanation, few minutes long, of what is different from what's actually all in the box. If you just want a quick brief through and not an actual, let me show you every card. So without further ado, let's just hop in here and see what we all have. So to start off, we're going to get our zombie cards. Yeah, so the zombie cards, like I've said earlier in the videos, I do like. These are a lot simpler than the originals. So like, because now you draw it, it's just, hey, I know I need a toxic walker, and I know how many I need. Versus the older cards, which I only have one that looks like this. This is from Angry Neighbors set, but it has the Seekers in there. But they just have silhouettes. Like this does say Seeker Zombies on it, but that's only because for that set there was only Seeker Zombies in there. But if you bought one with multiple different types of head runners, the brutes, abominations, walkers, or like, any of the base dangers, start mixing some of the different ones together. It just had the, like, maybe the symbol that went with it, like it would have had toxic symbols, it was a toxic versus a regular, but then it would have had, like just a silhouette, so you had to figure out which one was a walker, which one was a runner. I mean, it's not hard to tell the difference between them fairly quickly, but not nearly as quick as just pulling out a card that says Toxic Walkers. Then you know which one, and now you know which rarity. Then you always know that's what you're getting, and you just gotta determine quickly which color you're at, versus also having to decide, because like one of these cards could be, it could have been a walker, could have been walker, runner, fatty, or brute. Then the next card could have been fatty, walker, runner. Then it could have been runner, walker, fatty, abomination. It's like every card kept changing where the different pictures were, so you had to always keep trying to fit. You had to stop and read it a little bit longer. This just makes it a little bit quicker. So that's kind of the nice reason it'd be nice to upgrade to use all of these cards. So we're just going to kind of flip through these really quickly because there's not a lot to talk about. Basically, we're going to get our Toxic Walkers. So lots of these were included either in some of the expansion sets, like Toxic City Mall for this one. The Berserkers are in Prison Outbreak. The Seekers, that we'll see later, are in Angry Neighbors. Or they were in the box of zombie sets. They had, I think, 11 box of zombie sets, 10 or 11. Some of them, the first couple were just like repeats of regular zombies, so we didn't recover those. But then there's like the dogs, the crows, very infected people, the VIP boxes. And you just see as you go through. So now what they did with these have some different rarities there. So we have the rush cards. Spawn them and then activate. Again, very easy to figure out. They continue the number order after the first two sets of the second edition expansions. The Washington, D.C. and Fort Hendricks. So it's like when they have new expansions, I hope the numbers don't start after these, so you can kind of keep them all in order. We have our Brute. We just get a couple of those. We have some Toxic Runners. Then, of course, runners don't usually get rushes. Then we can jump into the Berserkers, which get this knife symbol. And we just got a couple of those. you know, again, yeah, there's not a lot to cover a full set of these. So I don't know if these necessarily the brutes and the berserkers and the toxics were meant to cover the full kicks or the full expansions, or if they were meant to just cover like a special release box that gave you a couple. One of the boxes zombies might have had just a few of these in here, like extra upgrades, and they might have just been to help cover that. If you want all of the stuff to cover everything, you have to get the Nostalgic Pack, which came with 2nd edition, but it was only originally available if you bought everything. So you have to, if you don't have 2nd edition at all and you want everything, you try and find the full Kickstarter. Pledge had everything, all the Kickstarter bonuses, all the exclusives, and you get that Nostalgic Pledge. If you want to find it by itself, there are people selling it. It's just the price is increasingly jacked up for what it is. But it doesn't include any of these zombies. So, it just includes the character cards. So I'm saying, like, for that reason, if you're trying to get your old zombies in there, they might not work. But I think there's just not enough of these guys. Because even in those sets, they were extras. They weren't, like, the full amount. But here we have a bunch of dogs. And then they kind of run back around. They do 2 sets of the dogs. They do 3 sets here. Of the dogs of the same numbers. And my guess is so you can kind of determine how, like, sort of the difficulty level. Do you only want to include a few dogs? Do you want to include a lot of dogs? You can take in and out how many you want. And then we have the Skinners. All the walkers. The rush cards. And they have kind of like a barber's knife. We have some brutes. This is one of the only things you're going to end up with a little bit of difference is some of the sets call them brutes, some call them what's the word I'm looking for? Call them fatties. Alright, so then we had all the Skinners, and then we get a second set, which are a little bit more difficult. So, like, this is the first of the first set of Skinners, that's the second set. So this kind of mirrors how they did the original zombies. So you can play either with an easier difficulty or harder difficulty, or mix and match all of them. So if you want a little bit harder, you can take the second set. If they're a little bit too difficult, you can just pop out the second grouping of them, and it makes them a little bit easier. They spawn less, or there's less of them. So I like that they did that. I'm wondering if the Toxic and the Brutes are in the other expansions for Zombicide second. I have to double check that. But that might be why the Skinners get an extra full run and the other guys just get maybe a second set. Maybe make them a little bit more difficult. Then we have the extra activations for all the Skinners. And then we have the Seekers here. So the Seekers activate first, and then all the other ones spawn. So these guys are kind of a pain to fight. We're going to get a bunch of Seekers. Now, they do kind of like the dogs, where they run in multiple groups. So several different groups of them, so you can again to choose if you want one group, don't have a few appear, do you want to have 2 groups, or do you want to have 3 groups. So the more you have, the more they're going to appear. And the crows are going to do the same thing. So we go 6, 7. Then these just do 6 and 7, 6 and 7. Now they do a lot more with just 2 of each. So they have, I think, 5 of each of the sets of 2. And again, that'd just be for frequency. How many do you want? Do you want a lot? Do you want a few? Then we have the Very Infected People, the VIP set, which covers both sets. There are 2 different sets, and this will summon those specific ones. Now, they're still considered walkers for all other purposes, but it'll let you summon these guys. So we have a 6, 7, 9, 10. So we got 1 grouping there. A second grouping. and a third grouping. It's much the same way. You can pick and choose how many you want. The last little group we have here is the Lost Zombivers, which were in one set. So what this lets you do is summon one of the Zombivers, that now you have to fight them instead. And there's special rules for that in the Lost Zombivers set when you buy them. For some of them, I don't remember how much. I'm guessing they probably just have one health. They probably work somewhere between a brute and a walker. But that's definitely cool because it also gives you that option for, hey, any of your characters die if you want to play like a campaign. You could have them. If you don't want to have them come back as a zombiver and you play them, you could have someone, oh, this guy died. Now the next time you play, you might have to run into one of them as they died. So that could be a fun little extra mechanic. Then the final cards are just for the abominations. So we have the easy 3, which have 1, 1, 1, 0, nothing in blue. And then the big ones, which only have 1 for everything. Because per the general rules, you only have 1 abomination at a time. And the very final thing we're going to have for the cards, are the 3 abominations. We have the Toxic Abomination. Cards that way when you pick him, spawn him, you just see what he does. When eliminated, deals 1 wound to the assailant if they're in the same zone. End of phase, all standard zombies in his zone turn into toxic zombies. So that's why they don't probably have a lot of cards for them, because they'll turn into them. We also have the Berserker Abomination. It says Berserker is immune to ranged weapon damage except Molotov cocktails. So that kind of sucks. And then we have the A-Bomb Abomination. Impervious can only be eliminated with Molotov effects. Grabbing at the end of each of its activation. Drags to its zone all survivors within 1 range and line of sight. May drag out of car or tower through barricades and fences. So he's going to bring you near everybody. Another fact is, him grabbing you is going to suck because then he's going to pull you in. Other zombies might be able to hit you and do more damage that way. But also the fact is, you have to throw a Molotov to kill him. So now you have a guy that has to try and get out. If there's already like 3 or 4 zombies there, you have to spend extra move just to try and get away so that someone can throw that Molotov in there. Because you can't really generally risk killing your own team. Alright, so that was the end of those. The very last thing I want to show off for this set is sleeves. Just in case anyone wants to sleeve all their cards. I put this at the end just because it's not part of the actual box set. But you can sleeve all your 2nd edition Survivor cards with Zombicide compatible sleeves. These are from Sleeve Kings. Other people make other brands. But this will have, they're 76 by 88 millimeters. So they fit very nice. Not a lot of extra space here, so you don't have to worry about that. They'll fit into the dashboard this way. There might be a little, because they're pretty tight, they might fit in there a little bit tighter, might sit in there kind of wobbly, but still enough that you can still read what's in there. Now, you get 110 in this pack, and in this box here, there's only 70 cards. So that's enough to cover all of them, plus, gives you 40 more, so that would cover easily the other 3 sets. So no big deal there. So you buy one of these and you'll be able to cover all your Zombicide games for a while. Maybe pick up a 2nd pack if you're planning on collecting a lot of stuff, because that way you get them for the other sets right away. Plus, just not bad to ever have a spare. Then the other ones is we have for the mini cards, we have, at least the kind I use are the game generic Mini Americans. So these are sleeves 44 to 67 millimeter. Again, every different game uses a little bit different, but it does spec on there. It says for Zombicide. You're gonna get 50 of these, and there are probably more than 50 cards in here. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. 100, 110, 130, about 140. So you probably need about 3 of these to make sure you can cover all of them. But again, they sleeve them very nice. They still fit in your dashboard and everything. That way, you know, I like to sleeve all of my cards, just because even though like the small ones you're going to be touching a lot, and it just helps keep the size from getting wrecked. All that. The only downside is if you sleeve this entire stack, they're going to be very slippery, so you might have to like either have somebody holding them or a box to put them in. They do actually make Zombicide specific little like trays that will hold cards. They kind of go corner to corner and they expand getting out, so you can put them at whatever size you need. But you can always find something else that'll work as well. But I also like to even sleeve the big character cards, even though once you put them down, you don't touch them anymore. It's just when you're playing with other gamers, people that come over, friends, family, whoever, you know, some people are maybe eating a snack or something at the table, even having a snack. Even if it's not, I definitely won't let, you know, cheesy type snacks or greasy snacks at my table while I'm playing, but someone's maybe eating like a cracker or something like that, or, you know, even just drinking and they have some liquid on their hands, condensation from the drink. It just helps protect the cards. Or just if they maybe still have a little bit of dirt or something from the day, or who knows, you know, it just helps protect your cards and keeps them in, especially stuff like maybe not as much this, because I could probably go out and rebuy this eventually, but when you start buying Kickstarter version stuff, where you can't go back and just rebuy that, or it's not going to be freaking cheap to replace. It's not the, you know, $20 Monopoly game you can run out and rebuy once the pieces get damaged. So that's what I like to do. So I just like to show those off. Alright, so that's the complete zombie kit upgrade. Definitely great if you're trying to get, you're into second edition, or you're getting into second edition, you already own first edition. It lets you bring all your stuff over. The only thing, again, that kind of does suck is even if you did kickstart all of second edition, well, if you did kickstart all of second edition, you got one of these too, so it's not a big deal. You just have a lot of the duplicate other cards. But yeah, if you want to pick up all the older stuff, this at least lets you pick it up and you can buy the retail stuff, which is a little bit easier to find. I have like, I just went and bought some during a sale at one store. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 different boxes already of it. So like I don't have all the stuff. I don't have the stretch goals, but I have like 8 different retail boxes just right off the bat very quickly. Which let me use a bunch of these other characters right away. So that's some of the Ultimate Survivors, some of the guest boxes. So that's definitely cool. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.